At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian foods, basically.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
All right, I might play that again for you guys. You guys doing okay? Is it freezing cold where you are? Here it's freezing, but that means it's like 55 degrees. Let me see, 58 degrees outside right now. Whew. Super cold. I'm bundled up, as you can see. No, but it gets cold overnight into the 30s, believe it or not. But you might live somewhere that has real winters. We're sick of it. We're sick of the weather. Yeah, that's Joe Biden, Senior Living, White House Senior Living. I have some senior moments from him today that I'll play for you, as well as a creeper moment. So hope you guys are doing well today. It's Friday, right? TGIF. So you getting ready for the weekend? Al Shizzle says 20s. CHT says getting down to 4 degrees here. Yeah, where is this global warming? Apparently it's this system covers like the whole country. There are blizzards, and then there's the presidential caucus in Iowa on the 15th, which I think is Monday. And they're having like a blizzard right now. So I've been showing you guys clips of Vivek. Today I don't think I have clips of Vivek Ramaswamy, but he's been touring around Iowa even with the blizzards. So yeah, where people are talking about the cold, you got to bundle up. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing good. Thanks for sticking with me this week. Oh no, someone's calling me. Oh, I can't take the call right now. Sorry. They should know better than to call me during my show. Look at my camera reset from that because it went through the phone. All right, so Gonzalo Lira, do you guys know who that is? Gonzalo Lira. He was called Coach Red Pill on YouTube. He's now officially deceased. So I have a message from him, or from his father, that I'll read to you guys today. So yeah, that's the biggest news of the day. This American YouTuber, you could call a journalist, was reporting on the war situation over there and got arrested for it, and then tortured and then killed. Rube Star says never heard of him. Yeah, some people never have. Tucker Carlson just did a segment recently with his father, but I had talked about him before. But yeah, people who know Coach Red Pill. Yeah, I never watched his stuff on YouTube when he was popular on there. But yeah, he was tortured and died. That's what they say, at least. At least he's definitely dead. He got some pneumonias and other issues. So yeah, RIP. Illumitami knows who he is. Said, dude showed me how to work a room and woke me up to the early propaganda to this war. RIP. Yeah. So yeah, it's not good news, right? So moment of silence. You're wondering how long you have to hold it, right? Moment of silence for him. We'll pour some out for him. Yeah, I mean, who wants to die doing this stuff? Wow, somebody's calling me again. I'm getting phone calls. I'm sorry about that. Got one from no caller ID, one from my dad. Well, hopefully nothing's wrong. God dang it. I have an elderly father too. And if he's calling me, it could be important. Okay. I have to do this. See, we have an elderly president. I have an elderly father who's got his own stuff going on. There's the crazy picture, which makes it look like my studio is all messed up. Maybe I should do no picture instead of this, huh? Look how much crazier I look. Okay, hold on. Hold on one sec. Settings. Crap. Disconnect. Okay, let me see what's going on. One sec. Oh, not important. God dang it. Totally not important at all. Okay, let's see if this will reconnect. Thanks for hanging with me. Sorry. I just have to attend to business. It looks like it's about a Costco membership, though. There's the camera came back on. Start camera. Change it to the good camera with the blurred background and everything else. Okay, great. We're back. All right. I better just play my intro to snap us out of this. Here we go. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is. Joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. Yes. I see what you're saying, Illumitami. Yeah, that guy right there. He's not real. That's the lady on the airplane said. So sorry about that. Bitcoin is trading again today. Bitcoin is down today, the second day of trading in the ETF, but it's not the end of the world. If you're interested in getting involved in it, I can help you if you're curious, but that's no big deal. We're not running ads yet. Let me show you. Let me go back to what I have. And yes, once again, RIP Gonzalo Lira. Let me give you the statement from his father. I'll lead with that news since I did lead with it. So here is a statement from the father of Gonzalo Lira. He says, my son, Gonzalo Lira, died in a hospital in Kharkiv between 11 and 12 p.m. Ukraine time yesterday, January 11th, 2024. I cannot accept the way my son has died. He was tortured, extorted, incommunicado for 8 months and 11 days, and the U.S. Embassy did nothing to help my son. The responsibles of this tragedy is the dictator Zelensky and with the concurrence of a senile American president, Joe Biden. Please read his file enclosed from that kangaroo court hearing, and you will see that the charges were a political question, and Biden gave the green light to that bloody dictator to put my son in prison. My pain is unbearable. The world must know what is going on in Ukraine with that inhuman dictator Zelensky. If you, and this is in all caps, if you believe in democracy and decency, make the world know what they have done to a decent and very intelligent man who predicted that Ukraine would never win a war against Russia and the financial punishments would backfire on the USA. That's from Gonzalo Lira Sr. That was posted at 10 a.m. my time today by Liam Cosgrove. So yeah, that's the word. Yeah, basically the U.S. government let it happen. Didn't follow up with him. Didn't follow up with the U.S. Embassy or anything. He was an American. So do you guys want to see? I wonder if there are any. I wish I had some classic clips of him so I could show you guys who he was, but I don't today, and I'm sorry about that. And RIP Gonzalo Lira, we're going to miss him. So he was telling the truth from on the ground there in Ukraine. So let me play this again. I'll show you what he means about our dementia president. So this was run on Donald Trump's Truth Social account.
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian foods, basically.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
It's a good one, where residents feel like presidents. Well, here he is. Okay. Walking around and looking entirely lost. Here he is in a bike store. Just look at his eyes. Look at his eyes.
Morgan Sherwin. This is Morgan Sherwin and Sam Cerruti. This is Morgan Sherwin and Sam Cerruti. They're our team members here. They help us. They help us, service and sales.
Good to see you.
There you go.
Morgan Sherwin. This is Morgan Sherwin and.
So there he is, looking entirely lost. For the podcast, he has his eyes wide open. He starts charging as soon as he's pointed the way. That has to be stopped. And then it appears that he doesn't know what the hell is going on. His hands, he does this thing with his hands where they're like halfway. Do you guys think he'll make it? I'll do a poll. Do you think he's going to make it to the presidency? I'll do a poll right now. Will Biden make it to the election? Start a poll. Will Biden make it to the election? And now I know, or I could say erection. Will he make it to the insurrection? Start poll. Okay. So I bet everybody's going to say no, but people really, if you do a flashback with me, back to when he was running for president, I mean, it was amazing that he just kept carrying on, even during the last election in 2020. People didn't think he was going to make it then. And you would watch debates just to wait for him to completely melt down. And somehow he never did. So, wow, 2024 is going to be such a weird year with him and Trump running. And Trump is super old too. He's only slightly less old than Joe Biden, but also slightly less senile. But he has his own kind of senior moments. So, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. And there's no chance for anybody else, it appears. I mean, it looks like Donald Trump is going to take it in Iowa and he'll just sweep everywhere. But Rand Paul came out today and said something. I'll show you that. And, Vivek Ramaswamy says that Nikki Haley is going to be the nominee. So von der Leyen says maybe he's already dead. Yeah, it's possible. It is possible. Or he's a reanimated corpse of some sort. Here he is sniffing somebody or looking like he's about to sniff a girl who is scared of him. You want to see that? This is him being senile. So check this out.
Secretary Austin?
I do.
I'm sorry.
He's whispering.
Was it a lapse in judgment for him not to tell you earlier? Secretary Austin?
What's he whispering?
I'm sorry. Was it a lapse in judgment for him not to tell you earlier?
Oh, he's looking at the book.
I do.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what he says. He's like, I'm sorry I said that to her. I think is he looking at the books behind her or something? Maybe it's not as bad as the sniffing behavior. So on the bottom of the screen, it says Biden will respond if the Houthis continue behavior. So that's the other news today is we bombed Yemen yesterday. So with the United Kingdom, we did joint airstrikes on Houthi rebels yesterday. So possibly getting ourselves embroiled in a wider war. So you say he behaves like elderly that have had strokes. Yeah, I mean, he does look entirely out of it. If you want to support the show, you can drop super chats. You can also go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, or you can buy our t-shirts at truthclothing.io. I saw an order come in right before the show started. So truthclothing.io, that's where our t-shirts are. We have some great ones. All right, I have more funny video. I have Hunter Biden, Crackhead's Delight. Okay. So here's a little Hunter Biden parody satire. Crackhead's Delight.
Hey, thanks for dressing up, bro. You got the crack? All right. I'm not staying there any longer, bro. When Marjorie starts talking, we're out. All right? All right. Man, I need a hit. I said a crack, rock, the 100 to the Biden. I smoke lots of crack and I won't stop smoking because my laptop is leaking. But up jumps my daddy, he's a pedo of America's seed. Now the videos you see are all fake news and crack pipes won't burn your teeth. Because Google, the news, and Pedo Peter are going to make sure you all don't see that my name's Hunter, man, and I really do like blow. The Ukraine, my gun, the Paris, my man, my paintings, and my hose. But first, I got to light the crack into the pipe. I laundered lots of money with the big guy beside me. Is that rock? I won't stop. I break the law, repeat, and then I walk. Now Marjorie can't make me talk, so I need to say goodbye. So ignore all the tweets and don't forget to vote for the big guy. Let's go.
There you go. Above the law. Hunter Biden. There you go. That's the Hunter Biden crack song. Vote for the big guy. The big guy who gets 10% of your money laundering. You guys like that one? I promised I'd have funny videos for you. I have Bill O'Reilly losing it. We usually play Bill O'Reilly on this show when he couldn't sign out of his show properly. But here's Bill O'Reilly. I didn't even know if he's still on. I don't even know if he's still on TV. I don't think he's on Fox News anymore. Here is Bill O'Reilly losing it.
These other progressive things, we got to stop this now. I'm telling you, I don't have any progressive friends anymore. They're gone because I can't stomach them. Criminals running wild, murdering people because progressive DAs funded by George Soros don't want to punish the violent criminals. That's what you're giving me? You support that? Get out of my house. Out. I've had it. Biden is not going to get any better. And the Democratic Party has to get destroyed next November. I don't care whether you like Trump or not. Trump governed this nation in a responsible way where everybody prospered.
Really? Well, I don't know about that.
And if you don't believe that, you're a moron. Every single thing, every single indicator
I don't know if
was on
everybody prospered.
positive territory.
It was all right.
All the working people, no matter what color
COVID.
they were
were
making more money and there were more jobs. We didn't have inflation. We didn't have supply problems.
We started
we
inflation.
We got all of it, in addition to an open border.
So there you go. There's Bill O'Reilly. The people like to look back and think things were better before. Things were better, but we did have the COVID lockdowns, and you could definitely argue that the inflation started because of what happened under Trump's term, the money printing. Most of the money printing happened after COVID when Trump was still president in 2020. And we lost a lot of jobs and things came to a halt. So it wasn't like perfect. But if I don't believe that, I'm a moron. Well, that's Bill O'Reilly. So Bill O'Reilly is done with the progressives, done with them. I'll show you guys some progressive stuff. Here I have a clip. I have various things I'm going to bring you guys today, including the war in Yemen. So here's a clip that surfaced where Jason Burmis is saying that Epstein was involved in arms dealing. So here's a clip that suggests that Epstein might have been involved in arms dealing. Okay.
And it was the kind of thing you go into when we got here. Here's it's weird from the beginning because it's like you go in and he's got a whiteboard and there's all of this stuff drawn on it. And he goes, you want me to tell you what that is? And I go, yeah, well, sure. Bobby and he goes, I had the Israeli defense minister here last night for dinner, and then he's got me and Bobby Slayton. I mean, what kind of a fucking, are you shitting me? And then he said, and so we were talking about, he was showing me what kind of defense systems Israel would use in case of attack.
Wow.
And I thought, you know what? First up, what is the Israeli defense minister? What the fuck is the matter? Why would you tell me this is already, now it's weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing else is weird, but I know this was like a honk, something is wrong in this house.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is a guy who's working on his defense many years before.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
And
there you go. That's the story about going to Jeffrey Epstein's house and him talking about the Israeli Defense Forces. I'm learning something about people said Joe Biden's in worse shape than Mersh. Apparently Mersh had a stroke on stream. I don't ever talk about night wave, day wave and stuff. I'll have to take a look at what you're talking about. Thanks, Absent Stars, for updating me, saying you don't watch him. Yeah, I was wondering if he's still on Rumble. Rumble, by the way, I'm not on Rumble. I'm on YouTube. And for better or for worse, I've just did a lot of research into Rumble and realized that it wasn't what it purported to be. But Rumble stock, oh my God, it's off worse than Bitcoin today. So for everybody who's counting on Rumble to be there, although Bitcoin is getting worse as we speak, it's down another $1,000 since my show started. Well, that's good. It gets cheaper to buy. Now it's down almost $4,000 today. I'll show you that. This is Bitcoin's chart today. Doesn't look good. But if you look at Rumble stock, they're under investigation. Search the website for Rumble. They're under investigation by the SEC for over-reporting their viewers. But I watch shows on there, but it's basically down near it's at a 52-week low. This is the daily chart where it's down at the lowest it's ever been. So, and off a lot today. So I don't know how much longer Rumble will be in business. I was on the front edge of this whole thing, talking about Rumble and the problems that I saw there, how creators weren't making money on there organically, and that I didn't believe the numbers that they're showing. Well, this shows it. So I don't know. I don't know how much longer it's going to last. I hope Diamatra Beat says Rumble is fake as F. Absent Star says Rumble's all bot views. JT says Rumble is full of infiltrators. So I see a lot of people talking trash about Rumble. I mean, here we are on YouTube. Do you guys like it here? The technology is the best. Certainly. That's the reason I choose it, is the technology is the best. And we can get people tuned in. We're probably going to get more than 100 people tuned in again today. So this thing is happening. But yeah, I was watching Bitcoin stock. I've been watching Rumble stock. And then the Bitcoin price. Yeah, Bitcoin is on sale, it looks like. So, and it's Friday, going into the weekend. Well, when the market closes, then degens can degen. There's a big drop, though. Wow, down to 42,000. It's really crashing today. 42.2 at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on that. You can buy it now through your broker. All right, so Yemen got bombed. I'll show you some footage. Wow, Bitcoin down to 42,000. Hey, Blue Fly, what's up? Jojo says YouTube has the best interface. Yeah, you can send hearts. You can click on that thing that sends hearts up. That's cool, like this. Or like this. That's a new feature. I don't know if I can see that on my end, though. No, I can't see that here, but you can do that. You can react. Here's the bombing in Yemen that happened without congressional approval. A few Congress people said that that was the wrong thing to do, including Ro Khanna, I believe. It only killed like 5 people. Look at the lights. Kind of looks like Hollywood, right? Luke Rudkowski is live talking about Gonzalo Lira. Gonzalo Lira located not alive. I think he couldn't say dead. People have cover up what they say. So here's Tulsi Gabbard talking about the strikes against the Iran-backed Houthis, and apparently they're going to respond to us. So do I have a statement on that? Yeah. So the British and the Americans went in, carried out airstrikes without getting any congressional approval. Here's Tulsi Gabbard. We haven't figured out where she fits into the presidential race this time around.
Tulsi, one of the Houthi leaders, anticipated the attacks. And as I said, warned earlier today that any American attack will not remain without a response. They said that they're not afraid of confronting Americans. And this follows the Iranian seizure of that crude oil ship earlier today, where that seemed to change the tone of things and the trajectory of things from this administration.
Basically, shipping through the Red Sea and the Suez Canal has been shut down because of all these attacks. Ships are having to go around Africa instead of cutting through the Red Sea and the Suez Canal. I believe it's the Suez. And so that's the deal. And so they're disrupting commerce, and that's why we bombed them, apparently. And I guess they hijacked a ship.
Standpoint, but we don't have a commander-in-chief, at least that we can see. They've called a lid at the White House, which concerns a number of our guests tonight. Tulsi.
Yeah, Laura, my greatest concern, both as a soldier who serves in the Army Reserve, a veteran for over 20 years and multiple deployments to different war zones, is how short-sighted, incompetent, and lack of caring that the Biden-Harris administration has for our own national security and the American people. What they are doing here now appears to be not well thought out.
There's the map. So this is this Red Sea. So people come through here, up here, and then out the other end into the Mediterranean when they're shipping oil. So it looks like we have 26 ships there, which they could attack. And there's Yemen right below Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was already bombing Yemen with our help. I mean, you guys remember there was a humanitarian crisis in Yemen because of Saudi Arabia's war on Yemen. So she says it doesn't seem well thought out. I'll rewind a little bit.
For our own national security and the American people. What they are doing here now appears to be not well thought out at all, or considering what the ramifications of this will be and how it serves our national security interests, just like they didn't think through what the ramifications would be of taking the Houthis off of the terrorist list a few years ago, just like they didn't consider the ramifications of giving Iran over $6 billion, much of which is going not to the well-being and humanitarian interests of the Iranian people, as they were promised, but to fund these terrorist groups like the Houthis to do exactly what they are doing, threatening global commerce and peace. We have a Secretary of Defense who was hospitalized for 5 days, and the White House, leaders in the Pentagon, the National Security Council, the president himself had no idea.
That's true.
It's hard to convey this frustration, both as an American, but also as a soldier. How is this even possible, coming from our leaders in the Pentagon and the President of the United States, who already turned off the lights for the night, even as our military is taking action overseas? So we should all be very concerned right now about the consequences of such a short-sighted administration who undermines our national security at every turn in the decisions that they are making overseas, but also in the decisions that they're making here at home. And you talked a little bit about this before. Tens of thousands or thousands and tens of thousands of people are streaming across our borders into our country with no vetting whatsoever. And we know that that includes people who are terrorists who seek to do harm to the American people right here at home.
Right, there you go. So they say they're going to strike back. This is a statement from the Houthis in response to the attacks. The battle will exceed the imagination and expectations of the Americans and the British. The war is open, and the Americans and the British will regret their aggression and pay a high price. The Yemeni armed forces are responding to the American and British warships in the Red Sea. A fierce war in the Red Sea, and we targeted American and British military sites and bases. Yeah, there was some news that the American embassy in Iraq was under attack, and there was some news that they sunk a ship, but I can't confirm any of that. Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, was in the hospital for 5 days before anybody in the White House knew about it. That's a weird thing. So anyway, that's us trying to escalate the war against Iran, trying to start a war against Iran. Okay, so I have some pedophile news. People are asking for public hangings to be brought back for the people who got caught assaulting toddlers in a mall bathroom. So this is a sensitive topic. So it has to do with child abuse. So I will play to you from the Fox local news that reported on it. But this person asked, what is the right punishment for these evil people? And most people are saying death, which I can understand why people are saying that. But here's the local news report of pedophiles caught in a mall assaulting toddlers. So this is sensitive news, trigger warning news.
Run down here tonight, an absolutely devastating story. 2 toddlers were allegedly sexually assaulted in a bathroom at the Galleria by multiple men. One of the men was a mall employee. Fox 26's Natalie He is joining us now live from the Galleria with the disturbing details. Natalie.
Well, Anthony, court documents reveal that there were up to 7 men involved in the sex assault. It apparently happened at one of the public bathrooms here at the Galleria Mall. And tonight, one local organization has an important message for parents. The FBI has arrested Arthur Hector Fernandez III and charged the 29-year-old
There he
with
is.
sexual exploitation.
He's got
of
the
children.
rainbows, right?
Fernandez is
He's got the rainbows in his
pictured here
profile
on his private Instagram.
and looking awfully LGBT. He's got his Cash App up too.
With the username allegedly Hector. His account was named in court documents that detailed the disturbing allegations that he and at least 6 other unidentified men sexually assaulted and raped a toddler at what appeared to be a Galleria Mall bathroom. Court documents say last month the Australian Centre to Counter Child Exploitation reported 4 explicit videos found on the dark web to the FBI in which at least 2 toddlers ages 2 and 3 were filmed being sexually and verbally assaulted by multiple men at once. Relatives of the toddlers told investigators Fernandez was a friend and fellow Galleria employee who offered to watch the kids while they were at work at the mall.
I think as parents, you want to go with your gut, but also as policymakers, people need to start figuring out how do we make sure that we have safe environments for our kids so they don't have to, parents don't have to wait on a creepy uncle or a neighbor that they think is safe.
Dr. Bob Sanborn is the president and CEO of the organization Children at Risk. He says parents should look out for certain telltale signs that their child may have been abused.
Kids, after they've been out with someone who you thought you trusted them, they will sort of withdraw. They'll be more quiet. And so look for those changes in your children. Bedwetting, not eating, all of these things are sort of signs that something isn't right with your child. In this case, we're talking about toddlers. They really couldn't communicate. They didn't know what was right and wrong.
There you go. So there is, people are asking me where this happened. The guy's profile, the guy's Instagram profile that they showed said Houston. So I think maybe it's in Texas, maybe in Houston. So the Galleria Mall, a lot of malls are called Gallerias, right? So yeah, that's a horrible story. And then I have more LGBT news and video. I wanted to get you Rand Paul. Rand Paul said he was going to make an announcement today, and we thought he might be endorsing somebody. He's going in the never Nikki category. This was his video that he released today. He's not endorsing anyone. He says that he likes Trump, DeSantis, and Vivek, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., but this is what he said. He's launching this new website, Never Nikki.
Good morning, everyone. As I told you yesterday, I'm ready to say something about the presidential race. I've had a long relationship with Donald Trump, and there's a lot to like there. I'm also a big fan of a lot of the fiscal conservatism of Ron DeSantis. I think Vivek Ramaswamy's been an important voice. Also have listened to and met with the independent Bobby Kennedy. I'm not yet ready to make a decision, but I am ready to make a decision on someone who I cannot support. So I'm announcing this morning that I'm Never Nikki. And if you go to nevernikki.net, you can let her know that you're not a supporter either. I don't think any informed or knowledgeable libertarian or conservative should support Nikki Haley. I've seen her attitude towards our interventions overseas, I've seen her involvement in the military-industrial complex, $8 million being paid to become part of the team. But I've also seen her indicate that she thinks you should be registered to use the internet, that people posting ideas anonymously. I think she fails to understand that our republic was founded upon people like Ben Franklin, Sam Adams, Madison, John Jay, and others who posted routinely. For fear of the government, they posted routinely anonymously. And I think her failure to really understand that, or to think that you should register through the government somehow for the internet, is something that should disqualify her in the minds of all libertarian-leaning conservatives. So I'm announcing today, I'm Never Nikki. You can go to nevernikki.net and sign up and show her that you're Never Nikki also. Thanks.
Sign up and show her. All right. So he didn't endorse anybody. Trump is saying he picked a VP. And so some people were thinking, I know that Trump and Rand Paul have played golf together. So I thought maybe he was going to announce that he was going to be Trump's vice president, who would be the best possible pick, would be a great pick at least. But people like Vivek and they like Tucker as Trump's VP pick. People have been voting on polls on Twitter for who they want to be vice president for Donald Trump. And people are saying either Vivek or Tucker Carlson, but people forget about Rand Paul. He's great too. And his dad is great too. So anyway, that's the political news. Let me see if I had more news about politics. I have news about DEI. I have news about the border. I have like some AI news. I have Trump news. Let me play that now. Timothy O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary says that defends Donald Trump today. So he actually is defending Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank says that the charges against Trump are trumped up, and that Trump didn't do anything different from any other real estate developer. So I'll play that. This is him on CNN defending Donald Trump today, who is in court, who has been in court, and the trial is just finishing for the $370 million lawsuit against him. So here's what Kevin O'Leary said. Oh, if this plays. Some videos aren't playing on X. This is something I saw somebody note. So some videos aren't playing on X. O'Leary. Let's see. Let me see if I can get another video of him talking about Trump. Here's Charlie Kirk. Let's see if this video plays. Certain videos. There we
You've
go.
been doing real estate for decades. Does this case strike you as odd?
Well, let's leave out Trump for a minute, and let's leave out politics and just talk about what happens in real estate development anywhere. So if you're a developer and you've got a building on a block anywhere in America, and it's worth, let's say, $500 million, and you want to build a building right beside it, you go to the bank and say, this building is worth $500 million. I'd like to borrow a construction finance loan against this asset, and I want you to tell me it's worth $500 million too. And the bank negotiates with you and says, well, no, we think it's worth $400 million. And you fight it out. You're always trying to show your assets in the brightest light with the sunshine you could possibly determine for them. You want them to be worth the very most, because you're only going to get a 40 or 50% loan to value, as it's called. Then you borrow that money. In the case of a $500 million asset, maybe you get $250 million, and you build a new building with a construction finance loan. And so that's what this case is all about. And by the way, forget about Trump. Every single real estate developer everywhere on earth does this. They always talk about their asset being worth a lot, and the bank says no. And that's just the way it is. So in this case, when I'm trying to figure out, and I'm not pro or con, or I don't care about the politics, who lost money? Nobody. The bank got paid back the construction finance loan, and a new building was built. And if you're going to sue this case and win, you got to sue every real estate developer everywhere. This is all they do. This is what they do all day long, every day. So I don't think this thing will ever survive appeal, regardless of what the fine is. This doesn't even make sense. Now, look, I know Trump's got a lot of problems in other indictments and everything else, but this, if you're a real estate developer, you're watching this, you're saying, what is this? This is ridiculous.
So there you go. That's the defense of Trump. Pretty strong defense. Yeah, I mean, he lied about, or he may have inflated the value of his assets, which the bank then challenged him on anyway. It's not too unusual. So anyway, if you want to support the show, somebody says I'm restored on Twitch. Clinton Ortiz, that my streaming account has recently been restored on Twitch. I didn't know that. I'll have to check that. And then I don't know if I'll stream there anymore. I can stream to 3 locations without paying extra for more streaming sites. So that's interesting you say that, Clinton Ortiz. Apparently Twitch is laying off 35% of their workers. So buy our t-shirts. Let me show them to you. Go to truthclothing.io. You can get one of these propaganda t-shirts. These decentralized tees are great. Those are right here. Our Truth Matter, the original Truth Matter shirt is still available. Question everything. Bitcoin saves. I even have Litecoin shirts, which should be cheaper probably, because probably nobody has Litecoin. That one's only $20 though, and this is only $25 for a baseball tee. So get your shirts now. Truthclothing.io. We have some of the coolest shirts, and they start conversations out there. We have, and we support other channels too. So you can get a Lift the Veil Never Normal t-shirt for $15 on sale. So check those out. Truthclothing.io. That's our website for our t-shirts. Okay. So yeah, that's a great way to support the show, besides going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, which is also great. Let me show you some trans videos that are insane. Do you have genital preference for a partner? Like, do you prefer that they have a penis or a vagina, one or the other? If you do, if you prefer vaginas to penises, then apparently that's transphobic. So I just wanted to play that for you. This is somebody saying genital preference is transphobic. So here you go.
Yes, genital preferences are always transphobic.
Always.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
No, but seriously, deciding that you don't want to be intimate with someone because of the genitals they have is transphobic, particularly like if you think about in this case, this means that this person is not open to dating trans women, which invalidates their womanhood. Not only that, it makes assumptions about the way that trans people are going to.
It invalidates their womanhood, because this guy says, I firmly agree that people are who they identify as, but I don't want to be intimate with someone with a penis. This person says that's always transphobic.
Genitals. The idea that trans people use the body parts that they have in the same way that cis people with those same body parts do is transphobic.
There you go. Say
Say it with me. Genital preferences are always transphobic.
Genital preferences are always transphobic. Do you want to see? This is this has got to be one of the most disgusting things I've seen. Explaining vaginoplasty, explaining turning a penis inside out into a vagina with fruit, with a banana, well, fruit and veg in this case. So here's someone explaining it. Try not to wince or anything when you see it.
I am finally getting my banana split later this year. I talked to my surgeon on the phone, and this is how he's going to do it. Step 1 is, of course, to split the banana. Inside the banana, we find a small tube of red licorice. You know this tube. It's the one that transports caramel sauce and frosting. We're actually going to shorten this tube, and I will show you why later. Next up, we're going to move our way back to the ice cream bag that is holding the 2 maraschino cherries, and we're going to remove them. I already had mine removed last year, but if I hadn't,
so he's a
they'd be
eunuch.
removed now. Next up, we're going to remove the innards
Interesting.
from the banana so
Or
that it's
they.
basically just a hollow tube. Now that we have our tube, we need to flip it inside. Inside will be
Listen
played
to the
by this
music.
butternut squash. As you can see, the tube of licorice that we cut is right here. You can see why we wanted it about this short. In order to flip our banana tube inside of the butternut squash, we must first make room in the butternut squash. So let's make some space.
Oh.
There we go. Finally, we can flip our banana tube inside of the butternut squash and let it heal. Healing can take up to a year, but really, I'll be on my feet after a few months. And yes, this is very messy, but it's also very worth it.
Really? Well, we'll see what he says later. Or we'll see what they say. They says. See, it is plural. It is plural. They say. Sumi, was that gross to you too? This has got to be one of the grossest things I've ever seen. And it shows why you should never do it. Can you imagine? That person says they want to do it, but they've already had their testicles removed. They could be on Game of Thrones. I've been saying they, right? I don't want to get caught with a strike for saying the wrong thing, for misgendering or anything. But if that person has already had parts of their manhood removed. Barbie says, do they even realize that they are being experimented on? I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy, right? What is that for kids? All right. And then the Academy of Pediatrics has published a statement saying that prohibition of gender affirming care is a form of child maltreatment. So the American Academy of Pediatrics apparently has weighed in. It says these laws that ban gender transitions for children are a form of child abuse. So, God, that was a disturbing video. Okay, so I have some stuff about DEI. I have some stuff about DEI. I have some stuff about the economy. I have a video of Charles Schwab worried that the Great Reset isn't going to happen because there's an anti-system movement. Do you feel like you're part of the anti-system movement, or do you identify as libertarian at all? He is worried about you. So let me close some of my tabs, speed up things. Okay, here is Charles Schwab saying what he's worried about.
You have this anti-system movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system. So fixing the present system is not enough. Now there is, of course, an anti-system, which is called libertarianism, which means to tear down everything which creates some kind of influence of government into private lives. It's dismantling the system. You have
there you go. Dismantling the system, being libertarian. So congratulations if you are. That's what he fears. So, all right, I have some testimony from Congress about DEI, about somebody who was fired from the military because of DEI. I have testimony about fentanyl, where people like this guy Jelly Roll. He was trending yesterday. So let me play you that. That's a 6-minute video of testimony from Congress. In front of Congress, asked them to pass legislation to deal with the fentanyl crisis. Remember, we're housing undocumented immigrants for free, it seems like, sometimes in public schools. They're suggesting that people house them in their houses now, especially since the weather is so bad. But we're not doing enough to stop the fentanyl crisis. So I'll play this video of his Senate testimony, Senate or congressional testimony.
Forgive me, I'm a little nervous. I'm used to having a rock and roll band behind me when I have a microphone in front of me. During the time that I've been given to share my testimony here, I think it's important to note before I start that in these 5 minutes I'll be speaking that somebody in the United States will die of a drug overdose, and it is almost a 72% chance that during those 5 minutes it will be fentanyl related. having started that way. Chairman Brown, Ranking Member Scott, and esteemed committee members, thank you for having me. I know this is a bit of a curveball, but I like a little baseball myself. My name is Jason D. Ford, but to most I am known as Jelly Roll. It is important to establish earlier that I am a musician and that I have no political alliance. I am neither Democrat nor Republican. In fact, because of my past, my right to vote has been restricted. Thus far, I have never paid attention to a political race in my life. Ironically, I think that makes me the perfect person to speak about this because fentanyl transcends partisanship and ideology, gentlemen and women. This is a totally different problem. And I was speaking outside to the media, and I gave them a statistic that said 190 people a day overdose and die every single day in the United States of America. That is about a 737 plane. That's what about a 737 aircraft can carry. Could you imagine the national media attention it would get if they were reporting that a plane was crashing every single day and killing 190 people? But because it's 190 drug addicts, we don't feel that way. Because America has been known to bully and shame drug addicts instead of dealing and trying to understand what the actual root of the problem is with that. But the sad news is that narrative is changing too, because the statistics say that in all likelihood, almost every person in this room has lost a friend, family member, or colleague to the disease known as addiction. I've attended more funerals than I care to share with y'all. This committee, I could sit here and cry for days about the caskets I've carried of people I loved dearly, deeply, in my soul, good people, not just drug addicts, uncles, friends, cousins, normal people. Some people that just got in a car wreck and started taking a pain pill to manage it. One thing led to the other. And how fast it spirals out of control, I don't think people truly understand. So many people. Equally, I think it's important for me to tell y'all that I'm not here to defend the use of illegal drugs. And I also understand the paradox of my history as a drug dealer standing in front of this committee. But equally, I think that's what makes me perfect to talk about this. I was a part of the problem. I am here now standing as a man that wants to be a part of the solution. I brought my community down. I hurt people. I was the uneducated man in the kitchen playing chemist with drugs I knew absolutely nothing about, just like these drug dealers are doing right now when they're mixing every drug on the market with fentanyl, and they're killing the people we love. I'll be honest with y'all, my desire is to only get older and only do better and be better. I believed when I sold drugs genuinely that selling drugs was a victimless crime. I truly believe that, y'all. My father always told me what doesn't get you in the wash will get you in the rinse. Now I have a 15-year-old daughter whose mother is a drug addict. Every day I get to look in the eyes of a victim in my household of the effects of drugs. Every single day. And every single day I have to wonder if me and my wife, if today will be the day that I have to tell my daughter that her mother became a part of the national statistic. History repeats itself, gentlemen. Even in the 1990s, crack cocaine had long made its way into my middle lower class neighborhood. And at that moment, even as a teenager, you could have never convinced me in that moment that there would be a far bigger problem on the horizon in the form of a pharmaceutical drug. And then I watched opioids and Oxycontin burst onto the scene. I'm here to tell y'all that fentanyl is going to make the Sackler family look like saints. And I want to let y'all sit with that for a second. It is time for us to be proactive and not reactive. We were reactive with crack. We were reactive with opioids. And y'all are taking the first step at somebody in Senate finally being proactive. I truly believe in my heart that this bill will stop the supply and can help stop the supply of fentanyl. But in part of being proactive, gentlemen and women and ladies, I have to be frank and tell y'all that if we don't talk to the other side of Capitol Hill and stop the demand, we are going to spin our tires in the mud. Y'all are taking the first step, but I encourage you to take it outside of this room and you take it to your colleagues and your constituents and you give them the most that you can. I know I've got a few seconds here, and Senator Brown said I may or may not go over. All I want to say is that I not only encourage y'all to do this, I encourage y'all to take it a step further. At every concert I perform, I witness the heartbreaking impact of fentanyl. I see fans grappling with this tragedy in the form of music that they seek solace in music and hope that their experiences won't befall others. They crave reassurance. These are the people I'm here to speak for, y'all. These people crave reassurance that their elected officials actually care more about human life than they do about ideology and partisanship. I stand here as a regular member of society. I am a stupid songwriter, y'all, but I have firsthand witnessed this in a way most people have not. I encourage y'all to not only pass this bill, but I encourage you to bring it up where it matters, at the kitchen table.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thought I'd give you guys that. He was trending yesterday for that speech. Jelly Roll. Don't know who he is. He's got some face tattoos. Been through it. I've been addicted to opioids myself and benzodiazepines at the same time and alcohol at the same time. I was like a triple threat, as they say. So yeah, alcohol, opioids, plus benzos all together. Could have died for sure. But I was around before the fentanyl stuff. So fentanyl was barely a thing. But that's a drug that they made. That's a drug that's stronger than heroin. So, and cheap too. So yeah, it's something to be worried about. All right, let me give you some DEI news. Here's Southwest tweeted out this photo of an all-female flight crew, and then they deleted it. All-female flight crew go off Queens, and then they actually deleted the post because of the reaction they were getting yesterday. So yeah, that's from Southwest. People think that it's DEI that's making the planes fall out of the sky. Here's another DEI story. An internal memo sent to staff and teachers at Denver public schools it's a Black Excellence Pledge. And it says, all educators, first, you're supposed to acknowledge that institutional racism exists in Denver public schools and at all levels. You have to believe that all educators need to deeply understand white supremacy, white privilege, and the prevalence and deep harm whiteness brings to students and team members. And then there's a lot of things you have to do in order to make up for that. So this is a pledge. You must acknowledge that institutional racism exists in Denver public schools, and you must believe that all educators need to deeply understand white supremacy. And then let me show you the belief. It says, if you believe all lives matter, you have to commit to Black Lives Matter, because in our educational system, we have consistently left our Black students and Black team members behind. So you have to be explicit in saying Black Lives Matter. Focusing on Black students means that other students will not get what they need. If you believe that, that's a zero-sum game. So if you believe I am not racist, then we say to you, as Robin DiAngelo, author, tells us, it is not if you are racist, but how you are racist. We all perpetuate racist ideologies, policies, and practices in some way and must work tirelessly in our efforts to be anti-racist. So yeah, that's a commitment to Black excellence. All right. So I have that story for you. We're coming up on an hour. We have immigrants in this country. Jerry Nadler says if we didn't have immigrants, then we wouldn't get our vegetables picked. Oops, this might be one of those videos that doesn't play. Well, that's all right. He says our vegetables would rot in the ground if they weren't being picked by many immigrants, many illegal immigrants. Okay, I'll close that. All right. I have more Senate testimony, like 5 minutes worth. But I think it's not quite as exciting as the other one, so I'm going to skip that one today. Texas took over the border last night. Texas National Guard has taken over Shelby Park and Eagle Pass and is restricting border patrol from accessing the area. So Texas is actually taking control of the border starting last night. Devotee says blaming DAI for planes almost crashing is deflection. Well, we don't know for sure. Those 737 Maxes already were killing people. I mean, we already had a few plane crashes. We don't know why. Maybe it's because they're just not focused on excellence, true excellence. That's and safety above everything. Safety of team members and safety of passengers. So maybe that's why. Anyway, yes, Texas military confirms Texas National Guard has seized control of Shelby Park and Eagle Pass. So that happened last night. I have hologram news for you. I have economic news for you. Let me show you this hologram. Check this out. This is one of the things at CES. CES is going on right now. That's the Consumer Expo, electronics. Real guy is over there.
Try and look forward. Look, just look straight out.
So this isn't the real guy. That's the guy in the hologram. Wow, it's pretty good.
And I'm gonna start here.
There's the real guy
Try and
back
look
there.
forward.
That guy.
Look, just look straight out.
That's pretty insane. That's a hologram that's being shown right now at the Consumer Electronics, whatever it is, whatever it's called. There's a bunch of other new stuff coming out too. Lots of advanced systems, advanced AI. Let me play you this. Experts suggest your standard of living be reduced by 85%. The climate needs you to reduce your carbon footprint by 85%. So this is the climate crisis end game. Let me play you that. And then I'll see if anybody has any questions. Go ahead and put them in the chat. Thanks for nothing. Now I'm going to look. I didn't see any super chats today, but you can certainly super chat me. I'm looking at my Buy Me a Coffees right now to see if anybody dropped me any coffees. Thank you for the 2 people who sent me tips on Rockfin yesterday. Thank you. It was Vogan Filter and I think Michelle Obama is a man. And then Cash App, I got 2. Oh, I got some coffees. Look at that. Here. Someone bought a coffee, says, good job digging up news. Thank you. Dimantra Beats, thank you, says, get me a pot of my favorite ale or IPA. So I'm supposed to get an IPA with that. Okay, I'll do that. I actually think I need to get myself some more. I think I might be out of my IPA, Mind Haze. So thanks for that. Thanks for those 2 coffees. And you can become a member over there too at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. We have 111 people tuned in. Go ahead and like the stream. I'll play you this clip about reducing your footprint.
What is the climate endgame? Yesterday, I mentioned a new UN report demanding 150 trillion, that's with a T, to combat the imaginary climate crisis. In that video, I ventured that climate has been one of the most successful taxpayer fleecings in American history, rivaling the military-industrial complex and second only to central banking. Frittered away on green billionaires and their army of useful idiots who glue themselves to highways. Alas, it is not just the 150 trillion. There's always been a more sinister angle to the environmental movement. Indeed, 50 years ago, Czech physicist Peter Beckmann coined the term watermelon to describe the movement. So green on the outside, deep Marxist red on the inside. We can see the political agenda and how media treats environmental issues. So anything the left dislikes has a sin-soaked carbon footprint that must be eliminated to purify the planet. But anything the left likes gets a pass. For example, the past few years, we've seen mainstream media attacking the carbon footprints of barbecues, air conditioning, recreational shooting, or even camping, college football, and especially tailgating at college football, which college Marxists do not do. Meanwhile, burning dozens of cities for racialized Marxism or sending hundreds of private jets flying cross-Atlantic to environmental conferences apparently have no carbon footprint at all. It is magic. Alas, joke or no, they are now taking this to the next level. In Europe, they are floating digital identities that could be used to impose a carbon allowance, beyond which you would have to buy credits. So the riffraff stays in their pods, the rich still get to park their yachts off Monte Carlo. Commentator Eva Vladingerbrook labeled this correctly as neo-feudalism. Alas, it is one thing to keep the poor in their place, but the next step is slashing humanity's standard of living altogether. After all, we are all sinners in the eyes of St. Greta. So how much? Well, major UK consultancy Future Laboratories issued a report recently calling for carbon allowances of just 2.3 tons per year, which is the carbon emission of a single round trip cross-Atlantic flight. So you could either take that flight or you could eat for the year. Now, that would do wonders for keeping the riffraff out, unless you've got the dosh or the ideological blessing to buy your indulgences. 2.3 tons is interesting because it's roughly 7 times less than the average American and 5 times less than the average European uses. They are poorer because their politicians are stupid. So what would 7 times less carbon look like? Well, carbon footprints line up almost perfectly with GDP, so it's pretty easy. We'd be 7 times poorer. In other words, a standard of living somewhere between Cuba and Botswana. Of course, at that point, we pray that they do not further alter the deal and take us all the way to climate paradises like Somalia or Papua New Guinea. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. The good news is the watermelons are overplaying their cards. 150 trillion to buy our way to Botswana is not a winning platform. Alas, the bad news is our left-wing media is brainwashed so deep, they will do everything they can to hide the trap until we are deep inside. Read the rest of the article at profsaintange.com with charts and everything. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Okay, cool. That guy's cool. So yeah, that's where we're headed towards: climate Armageddon or climate feudalism. So there you go. That's the news today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the tips. Please visit our store, truthclothing.io, Truth Revolution Clothing at truthclothing.io to pick up some t-shirts or hoodies. Stay warm out there. Don't die. And we'll see you next week. Most likely see you on Monday. Even though it's a holiday, I think I will be broadcasting. The show is normally brought to you weekdays at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time for about an hour. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. And we'll see you at the next one. All right. For now, that's what it is.